Holy shit. Has it been a minute or has it been 2 minutes? I think it's closer to 2 minutes. Yeah. Just a disclaimer, you're going to hear the Hurricane Xbox 360. Even if I put my microphone 35 miles away from the 360, you would still hear it. That's probably more so the issue of the Yeti. It's able to pick up pretty much anything, the Yeti microphone, but also the fan speed. So there's nothing I could do. So believe me, I acknowledge the terrible sound. But yeah, Xbox 360 moment. But yeah, 15 years. Kind of surreal. Why not on PC? Well, we're going to be doing some... we may transition to PC Dead Rising, but we're going to be fooling around with Xbox 360 for a little bit. Yeah. What made me think of doing this stream wasn't necessarily just 15 years. It was actually looking at the last time I did a live stream and realizing it was 3 years ago. That kind of hurt because I was sure I made a stream like, I don't know, the mid 2020, maybe the start of 2020. And YouTube had the audacity to tell me that no, it was 3 years ago. So that kind of hurt. Maybe I shouldn't watch my own live stream. Maybe that would help the quality. Yeah, it's been a while. I don't know. I don't know how I've let that long go. People have been telling me, when's the next live stream? And I would always think, oh, I just did one. What are you talking about? Another one? Really? No, it's been 3 years. So, yeah, I do intend to fix that. Because live streaming, when everything is set up, live streaming is the easiest thing in the world. It's much easier than producing a video. So I'm definitely going to do that a lot more. But yeah, more than anything, just the fact that it's the 15-year anniversary, I knew I had to do something. You know me, there's no way in hell I can have a video ready in time for such a monumental date. So streaming is it. So I'm just getting a couple things set up with OBS. This is the first time I've had OBS installed on this PC on this new drive, so I had nothing really prepared. Yeah, I have no sense of time flow. Time doesn't exactly exist. I just permeate through the universe. That's just kind of how I work. Yeah. So we're gonna try to get this started in a bit here. I'm just getting a few checks from some people. I kind of I tried to set the last live stream we did. I noticed it was like 720p, and that's because the bit rate was probably like 2. So I tried to tailor it to 1080p. I don't know how good it looks really, but yeah, I want it to be at least better than the last live stream. This GIF is a shitty quality, so it kind of doesn't really tell what we're looking at here, but yeah. Thank you for the donation, Patrick. Love my videos. I love your videos. Yeah, so today what we have planned is I've noticed that the last live stream we did was of the 0.70 build, and we had a lot of fun with that because I never really showed it a lot on the YouTube channel because there's not really that much to make videos on. It's just kind of like a weird shitty build, but we had some fun with that on the live stream because if you explore it, you can break it pretty hard, and hope this music isn't too loud. But yeah, we had a bit of fun with 0.70, and I realized that I've done a few live streams with 0.70 prior to that, and I've made a few videos on 0.70, but I've never checked out the E3 build. And the reason I think that the E3 build would be kind of interesting is because the E3 build was like this celebrated milestone for Capcom. It's no music at all. Well, I hear it, but maybe you guys don't hear it. Yeah, the E3 build was this kind of celebrated milestone for Capcom. They finally transitioned out of this really shitty development process where they didn't even really know what the game was going to be, up until late 2006. So I kind of feel that it's in a way fitting for this. I could, we could just fuck around in the final game or whatever, but I think it would be interesting to mess around with a build of Dead Rising that was a milestone for Capcom was releasing the game, but I think the E3 build was really like the biggest weight off of Capcom's shoulders because they finally knew that the game is coming. Even the 0.70 build, it easily could have flopped. There was still a lot of issues with the game that they may not have been able to iron out in any reasonable time. So, yeah, I think the E3 build would be pretty interesting. The E3 build is not nearly as funny or as disgustingly early as the 0.70 build. So this stream is more so just kind of going back in time. I mean, we're going to be playing a version of the game that thousands of people played at E3 and haven't really seen since that point. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. I don't really know if you guys are getting. I hear music, but I don't know. I'm not good at live streaming. Give me a break. Okay. I think we're done with music. Yeah, so if I could figure out OBS here, we can hide this. Excellent. Okay. That should be good. Okay. Don't listen to your own stream. Cool. All right. So let's start this shit show up. I need to get my my chat in a logical place here. Otis voice reveal. You're hearing him, man. This is Otis. And yeah, just let me know if the quality is not good or the audio is not good or anything like that. I have a few people kind of monitoring it, but they also have lives too, so. All right. All right, let's start this up. So starting up any earlier version of Dead Rising is kind of like starting like an old diesel engine in the winter, but thankfully the E3 build is representative of, you know, the final game, I guess. It's still kind of early, still kind of slow, but yeah. Computer fan noise. That's not the computer fan noise. That is my diesel-powered Xbox 360 that you're hearing. And the mic is not close to it, so. All right. Now, to aid in actually showing anything in this build, I do have a trainer that I've assembled that can actually mess around with this build, because this build is extremely locked down. You follow a very specific path, and you can't really deviate from that. You really only have 10 minutes normally to play it. So I have game volume. I could actually put that on. Let me know if game volume is too loud. Thank you, Joker, for the donation. What was I saying? I'm fueled by toast with butter on it. That's all I ate this morning. So if I sound like I'm collapsing like a dying star, then yeah. Thank you, gamer, for the. Oh fuck. No, there's nothing stupidly early like that in this build, but you are gonna see some weird things. So yeah. So this is the trainer, and this is pretty much no different than the PC trainer that you can download on the forum. I just kind of masqueraded a little page for messing around with these versions of the game. And yeah, the E3 build, like I was saying, you get 10 minutes, and you can't really deviate from the path. And if you stop moving for even a minute, the game will end. It has like multiple different timers and shit like that. So it makes playing the E3 build and exploring it pretty much impossible. So with the trainer, we can actually bypass those timers. You still can't really explore this build that much because there really isn't that much to it. It was really properly curated. It doesn't have like a shitload of weird files or test maps or anything like that. It's kind of like the Xbox Live demo. It's just you play for a bit longer. But by disabling the time, we can at least experience it in its glory. So I'm going to patch some shit here, and that will allow us to play this a little bit better. Frank doing the Yankees flanky. I will try. The D-pad still doesn't work in this build. Or does it? What? Oh, okay, yeah, it does. Sure. So yeah, the 0.70 build had that strange Frank just chilling in the title screen. As you can see, they finally figured that out. They finally realized that Frank does not need to be in the title screen. I had a picture for the E3 DVD here, but I kind of forgot how I wanted to use this. Was this like a background? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, let's start this. So this build, this is part of the unlock. Overtime mode and infinity mode shouldn't be a thing in here, and in fact, infinity mode doesn't even work. But I displayed it just for the fuck of it. Overtime mode does actually work, and we'll check that out. But without patches applied, I should probably hide the trainer, but without patches applied, you can't actually go into overtime mode or anything like that. And you'll see why when we go into it. It's not really working. But let's start 72-hour mode. There is technically infinity mode, and I will show that. You can kind of force 72-hour mode to be infinity mode and get an idea of how infinity mode works in this build, but yeah, you can't go into it normally. This is probably going to be pretty loud, so I'm going to lower the game volume. So there's no differences in these cutscenes really. That really early facial expression shit that Frank had in the previous build, that's all gone. So when you're watching cutscenes, you don't really notice any differences. So we can skip that. But yeah, this is the demo that probably 1,000 people played at E3. I wouldn't even doubt it. They had like 6 kiosks running Dead Rising. Every person played for like 5 or 10 minutes. So yeah, they probably logged like 1,000 people playing this build. Yeah, it's a pretty unique one. There's PP stickers for some strange reason in here. But yeah, not a lot different. Using Watchdog, you can kind of do all the similar stuff that you can do with the PC trainer. You know, we got our free cam and all that shit. But yeah, I'm gonna do a run of the build that's not kind of fucked with patches and mods, and just kind of show you how the build runs. And yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to check Discord here for a second. Give me 1 second. Okay. I have God mode on and all that shit. I'm gonna turn that off because I do kind of want to, the first playthrough, kind of like what we did with 0.70, play it how they almost intended it to be played, and then we're gonna kind of fuck around with it. But yeah, once you're in game in this build, it's kind of hard to notice differences. The camera HUD is still a little early, you know, stuff like that. But the pause menu is now a lot more finalized. You still have this strange scoop thing in the notebook page, which doesn't do anything at all. I've checked through it 100 times to make sure, and there's absolutely nothing that happens with this scoop page. You can probably draw your own conclusions as to what it did. It probably showed you where to go rescue the survivor or whatever like that. But they clearly never ended up using it. It's been around in Dead Rising for a while, and this build's only 3 months before the final game, and the scoop page still doesn't do anything. So they kind of gave up on that pretty fast, and they just kind of left it in. No, this is not the build featuring the more expressive Frank. This is a month, give or take a month after the 0.70 build. And if you were to go back and watch that live stream we did of 0.70, you would really see the crunch time that happened between April and May. It's pretty insane. That build is a pile of shit. And this build, it does still have some really early things that don't quite work right, even things that are directly in your face. Like, you don't have to really go exploring this build that much to discover early things. But there's no real game-breaking stuff. The 0.70 build will crash just because you looked at it the wrong way. The E3 build never crashes, so yeah. The only I guess visual noticeable thing is that the HUD is kind of blurry. I don't know if you can make it out with the quality of the stream, but the PP and the level text is like blurry. It's like you have like jaundice or something. I don't know if you guys can make that out, but it's super blurry, and I don't even know what causes that because I've looked at the HUD sheet, like the sprite sheet texture for the HUD, and it's totally normal. So if for some reason it just displays like it's fucking ugly. Yeah, live streams are pretty much the only way to hear me talking not in a video, because obviously my video commentary is very very curated, and I pick the best clips. So obviously when I'm live streaming, you just kind of hear my stupid monotone voice. I'm gonna skip this cutscene. There's I promise you, there's nothing noticeable in the cutscenes. Yeah, let's take a look at Willoughby. It's kind of, let's break the path here a little bit once the 360 decides to load. Oh yeah, this build goes through 2 loading screens. I don't know if that was apparent just there, but for whatever... I don't know if that was a feature or it's a glitch, but this build will enter a loading screen, and then it'll enter another one. It's pretty fucking weird, but... yeah, let's check out Willoughby real quick here. So this build still has every build of Dead Rising has the debug camera. So this is nothing specific to E3 or anything like that. But yeah, let's look at our server mascot here. I never noticed this, but the windows are kind of weird. The glass, I don't know what that's about. Yeah. Okay. No more screwing around. I have disabled the timer just so that we do have the ability to play without having the demo end on us. But every other patch is disabled currently, so it is playing kind of like how the E3 build should. And that is literally my phone ringtone going off there. I shit you not. I I've actually, I'm fairly certain because of my phone ringtone and maybe because my voice is recognizable. I was at a restaurant once, and I had my phone ringtone go off, and someone standing in line, he turned around and he was like, "Oh hey, Dead Rising," and I'm like, "Yeah." And I didn't try to like mask my voice or anything. I didn't try to sound different. And the guy, he gave me this glance. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but he gave me this glance, and it's almost like, it was like a smirk, like he almost kind of knew who I was. And yeah, I was ready to hop in my car and drive away really fast. But yeah, so I should probably change my ringtone. I'm getting doxxed at restaurants. Yeah. Anyway, also that was one use of the timer patch, because if I was to just leave Frank like this for a minute, if there's no controller detection, this build will end. And they did that just so that, you know, at E3, when the player kind of puts down the controller and no one's near the booth, at least the build can return back to the title screen. So that's a really annoying feature when you just want to explore the build. So yeah, that's patched out. Yeah, no, I'm always afraid that someone's gonna spot me in person, and then I could never leave. I'm held captured for 3 hours explaining to them the history of Dead Rising. Yeah, we don't need these cutscenes. Yeah, pretty much. The when I first started messing around with this build, it was really difficult to find that timer because the timer code is not like necessarily labeled as anything. So it was pretty hard to find. And for years I was playing this build with that timer applied, and I couldn't really explore it because the timer would always kick my ass. But yeah, one pretty weird thing. I don't know if I can get it. Also, Brian is alive in this build, and Brian just continues to... He just kicks ass. But when zombies grab you and you knock them off, the camera like detaches from Frank. I don't know how obvious that is, but let me try to get grabbed here. Yeah, the camera kind of like recoils back. It's pretty weird. But yeah, Brian and Todd, they don't die as easily as in this build, and Verlene can never die because she spawns for some reason up here. I'm not entirely sure why, but yeah, so she could just never die, which is pretty interesting. I'm trying to read chat, but it's just a tiny little bubble on my screen, so let me see if I can pop out chat. Oh fuck! No! What's happening? What the fuck just happened? I'm gonna pause the game. The zombies are ruthless. Okay, I have chat popped up. Cool. I'm gonna extend this a bit here. Cool, I can actually read what you guys are saying. But yeah, apart from... Oh no. Oh fuck. Apart from this early placement of survivors and the way they behave, it's not really, nothing really noticeably different in here. So let's book it. There is one other difference, and it's the water reflection. It's not necessarily better, it's just different in this version compared to the final game. And it's a lot more intensive. You can see... I don't know if you can make that out on stream, but it's really laggy. Yeah, it just performs like a pile of shit. It is nice. I don't know if it's necessarily nicer than the final game, but it's just like a different water shader. Yeah, this is the... to anyone just tuning in, this is the E3 2006 version of Dead Rising. And we're just kind of toying around. Get the Otis cutscene. Well, here is the Otis cutscene, but there's nothing really interesting about it in this version. Only 20 gamer score for Dead Rising Historian? That wasn't worth it. Am I active on Twitter a lot? Not as much as I should be, but I just started an Instagram, so I should post on either. I don't really use Twitter for any like I don't know, any kind of promotion or anything like that. I just post stupid things. And especially stupid things on Instagram. Shadows are a bit different in this build, in cutscenes, but you really have to have a good eye to, or compare the final game's cutscenes side by side. But apart from that, there really isn't many differences. Alright, enough cutscenes. So this build will only play to the, what is it, the Barnaby cutscene when you discover Barnaby in Entrance Plaza. It'll only play up to that point, so let's just get up to that. Information has been added to the report. So Jesse is just as much of an asshole in this build. You could still chill on the bed in this version, which is pretty cool. And they fixed the collision. There's still this strange metal shielding thing here. Don't know why. Was it possible to reach Barnaby with the timer? Yeah, if the attendees were focusing on what they were playing and they weren't screwing around like I do, you could get to Barnaby within 10 minutes. It's pretty tough, but you could do it. Or it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And I'll actually show you when we start screwing around with the build. There's this thing in the title screen where if you press the correct series of buttons on the controller, you can enable this this display that shows how many minutes the demo will run for, and you can actually tune the time, so you can actually set like an hour if you wanted to. And that was like just a developer feature. You know, the people who were managing the booths at E3, if ever like a reviewer came along or someone that was just deserving of a longer demo time, the developers can kind of give them like 20 minutes to play the demo. And I'll show you that later. But with all the patches that I have applied to disable the timers, it's not like it's necessary. But yeah. But it's pretty hard to find differences in this build. I mean, for the fuck of it, we can hop in 0.70 later on, and just to give you guys a glimpse of how much crunch time happened in that 1 month. You know, we can go see the April build, and it's just diarrhea. I mean, it crashes, it runs like shit, weapons don't work the way they're supposed to. What's my favorite build? E3 2005. Fuck yeah. Do you have every achievement in this game? I've gotten every achievement aside from 5 and 7 Day Survivor, because I could never subject myself to doing that. Even though I spent all summers in my childhood playing Dead Rising, I could never justify getting those 2 achievements. It was just not worth my time. So yeah, if that makes me not a real Dead Rising fan, I'll accept it. Yeah, these cutscenes are pointless. Favorite thing about Otis? Favorite thing about Dead Rising is Otis, or Mr. Willoughby for sure. You get like a little like a scoop or a quest or whatever here, but you have no time, and that could be for the demo. It could be just because they anticipated you to not make it past 10 minutes anyway. But there's no timer for backup for Brad. Just kind of looks like he's about to die. It's pretty weird. Yeah, no, I've never beaten Dead Rising. I've never beaten it. The most obscure Dead Rising item you have in your collection? Probably the Dead Rising 4 socks. Those were, I think, given out at E3 2016. And not many people know about them because not many people would want anything Dead Rising 4 related. But yeah, the socks are pretty baller. So, yeah, when we get to Paradise Plaza, this build kind of starts to look like the Xbox Live demo. It's just a little bit earlier. Like, when weapons are about to break, they blinked red. Let me fire through all my ammo here, and you might be able to see that. There you go. So, that's one kind of strange visual difference is, and it was a good thing they changed that. Someone pointed that out. I made a video about how it was cool that the weapons used to blink red when they were about to break, and then someone commented that they probably changed that because of colorblind people. So in the final game, your weapon will just blink like on and off, which is much easier to see. But it's kind of cool, the little red blinking icon. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, let's go help Brad. Yeah, blinking red is visually appealing, but I can understand why they had to change it. And it's even hard to notice. Like, depending, if you're in an area like Leisure Park and the contrast is really blown out, it can be kind of hard to see that the item's blinking red. So, yeah. But this build is truly only give or take 3 months before the final game. So like I said, it really was a milestone for Capcom. They had a few issues to work out, but for the most part, it was working how it should be. Like in every other earlier version of the game, this pond was like either had no water in it or the water was a mirror, and now they're finally starting to fix some issues. The Tokyo Game Show build would definitely have the original voice actor for Frank, absolutely. You can actually, in some clips of Tokyo Game Show footage, you can actually hear Frank get hurt by a zombie, and he still has those like early like groan or whatever sounds. This is the E3 build, E3 2006. Though I was talking up that lake back there, that the water is all finalized and everything, but I completely forgot that this pond is a mirror. It's just a complete mirror. At least there's little like splash effects when you walk in it, but it is a absolute mirror. I don't know why. It looks good, like it's pretty impressive. It's super stupid. And you don't get a lawnmower either. Some playtester probably said like, oh, a bunch of zombies spawn near this spot. What the hell? Okay, a bunch of zombies spawns near this spot. Let's put a lawnmower, but they hadn't worked that out yet. I better eat food, man. I'm getting. Oh fuck! I'm getting clapped out. Yeah, the TGS Frank was definitely still the E3 voice actor. You can level up in this build. There's no restrictions on that. It's just with the 10 minutes, you would never really be able to do anything like that. But you could. It's true. Prior to 2010, it was just man. That's true. Thank you, Grid. What inspired Dead Rising? Probably a lot of Dawn of the Dead. Not just the 2004, but the original. Absolutely. They're in the Dead Rising Delusions replay art book. There's actually there's an article that they wrote where it showed like this restaurant where Dead Rising was born, quote unquote. Now this is the best Google Translate can kind of interpret, but basically, Keiji Inafune and a few of the higher ups of this game kind of met in like a ramen restaurant or whatever, and they kind of jotted down a shitload of ideas, and I guarantee you the majority of those ideas spawned from Dawn of the Dead. So there's no Uzi up here, which makes this boss fight kind of annoying. Also, one weird thing in options, everyone who's played the final game knows that in the options you can tune how the camera operates, right? So you can make it player direction or camera direction or whatever. This build doesn't have it, so there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. So it has like the original playstyle where it's wherever Frank is facing it aims, and I hate that. I fucking hate this aiming style so much. I like aiming wherever you're looking, but you can't do that in this build. But I should probably... oh shit. I should probably take care of Carlito here. What the hell did it go? Oh fuck! Shit. I can't remember the last time I did this fight without a Mega Buster, man. Can I even hit him from here? Alright, let's... You're all gonna see how much of an expert I am at Dead Rising here. Brace yourself for Stippo strategic gameplay. You take a lot more damage in this build. Zombies will fuck your shit up as well. So it's kind of... Oh my god, is he gonna kill himself with that? There you go. Thank you, Carlito. That was easy. As you can see, I am an expert. I am the best Dead Rising player there has ever been. You just wait for Carlito to fucking fuck himself up, and there you go. That was a big brain strategy. I don't know if he can do that in the final game. I don't know if he's still such an idiot with his grenades. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if he still does that. I just, I haven't fought Carlito in so long. I mean, who in their right mind doesn't bring a Mega Buster to every single fight in Dead Rising? I mean, what are you doing to yourself? Right, yeah, I think he can hurt himself with his grenades, but yeah, it's probably not an instant kill like that. Okay. I'm gonna let Brad sort his own shit out. I wanna show you guys something. In this build, I don't know if you can do it with hands, or I may have to use maybe like a lead pipe or something. But in this build and every build before, you can crack glass rather than shatter it. In this build, they fix that a little bit where it's not so damaging. But there's some weapons you can use where if you hit glass, it won't shatter it right away. It'll just leave like a pretty nasty crack on it. I don't really remember what weapon it is. Maybe like a bucket or something. There's pictures on the forum that there you go. So you can see you can crack glass before it'll actually shatter. And in builds before this, it was a lot more noticeable, where like you can just infinitely punch glass and it will only leave cracks. And it was actually really hard to break glass in previous, older builds of the game. But in this, they kind of fine-tuned it a little bit, but it still kind of exists. You can still crack the glass. That's pretty cool. Not that it matters, but just in terms of differences, it's cool that you can crack the glass. I should probably take care of Brad here. This build is a little tough to run while reading chat. So if I let some things go. Yeah, the glass cracking is pretty cool. Okay, so we're pretty much, unless the build patches that I've applied in Watchdog bypass the ending of the Barnaby meetup. I don't think I set that up, so I'm pretty sure the demo will end when we meet up with Barnaby. Yeah, I think it will end. But in the second playthrough, we'll explore the build a little bit further. Is there any way to bring the glass cracking back into the game? I've tried. I haven't really been able to figure out, you know, the code for damaging glass. I'm pretty sure you could. Why do I despise Dead Rising 2? Do I? I don't remember ever saying that. Hey man, I made a video on it. I can't hate it. But Dead Rising 2 doesn't stack up to Dead Rising 1. Plain and simple. I'm going to get a bit more game volume here because there's probably not a lot. Do you know of any trainers that allow you to spawn zombies, survivors? Yeah, I mean, the trainer that I made, you can spawn zombies, and there's Drex, which is like a patch that Grimdoomer made. All of this can be found on the Dead Rising forum. You can find that in the description of any video. There's all kinds of tools and stuff you can download. There's been 0 Mr. Baller appearances. Oh, I'm gonna show you Mr. Baller. Alright, I'm not sure if the build's gonna end here. Can't remember if I patched this out. But if I did, then the build normally will end here. Let's see. Yeah, I patched it out. Fuck. Well, basically, imagine a giant screen that says Dead Rising coming soon. Yeah. I could actually just disable build patches, and there you go. But yeah, let's do a proper playthrough of the game, and by proper I mean let's fuck around with it. So, first I'll show you guys that, and we can also check out overtime mode. Like I said, it's pretty buggy. It doesn't work, you know, at all. But first I'll show you this title screen thing. I made a little note for myself because I keep forgetting what the fuck what the combo is. Okay, so if you were a developer at Capcom and you were showing this build to attendees at E3, and you needed a way to, let's say a reviewer came along and they wanted a bit bigger of an experience of the game, you can tune the demo so that they can play for 20 minutes. And the way they did that is if they pushed the 2 triggers at the same time, they can display this time limit thing on the screen. And if I remember what the hell okay, yeah. So you can increase the time or decrease the time. Actually, I have that the wrong way. X is increase. Anyway, yes. This is basically just a simple tool for them to tune the time. And you can go all the way up. You can just hold it and it starts counting really high. 50 is the max. So you can let them play for 50 minutes or no time. I'm actually kind of curious. I've never actually tried 0 time. I'm gonna reload the build so there's no like patches applied to it, and then we'll try that. I just want to see what would happen if you played for 0 minutes, or if your timer was 0 minutes. Absolutely, Media Ghost. A remake would be nice. A lot of people are anticipating Capcom to do something today, or say something, and yeah, don't get your hopes up. Yeah, let's see. Obviously, the demo is going to end the second we get in, but it could be pretty funny. Alright. 0 minutes. Like all the experts of Dead Rising, they play for 0 minutes. I'm suspecting as soon as we meet up with Carlito. Skip. Honestly, if 0 does mean unlimited time, I will shit my pants. Nope, it doesn't. That's all you get. You get a fraction of a second of seeing Carlito's beautiful hair, and then it's over. Done. If you're hearing me throw my controller down, that's just because my Yeti mic was able to pick up everything. I could just blink and you'll hear my eyelashes move. This fucking mic just picks up everything. Alright. Now let's apply some dirty patches. And yeah, we could get into other versions of the game and screw around with those. There's plenty of things to show, more than the E3 build. I just wanted to hop into the E3 build eyelash reveal. I just wanted to hop into the E3 build because, again, yeah, it's just a pretty interesting milestone for Capcom. It kind of marked the end of Dead Rising's development. Yeah, let's I think instead of just 72-hour mode again, I'm going to show you guys overtime mode. I have to back out first. Or do I have... Let me reload this here. That would make it a bit easier. Okay. Too bad, Nitro. I read it. Infinity mode doesn't work in this build, but I will show you guys really quickly. You can force 72-hour mode to be Infinity mode and get an idea of how it was supposed to look, but yeah, it doesn't work otherwise. And if you guys are wondering what ranking looked like in this build, that's it. Can't see anything, obviously. There's no connection to Xbox Live. And options is the same thing as in-game. But yeah, those two things, ranking and options, don't normally appear in this build. You only get start game, but I patched it so you could see it. And same thing with this, overtime mode and E3 mode, they don't normally show up. So I'm gonna avoid Infinity mode because it does crash if you try to get into it, and I haven't been able to find any way to fix that. But overtime mode does work. There's no cutscene, so you get a black screen and you just gotta press start and it continues to load. What's up, November Man? Here's the 69 build in Capcom's deepest, darkest vault. So here is overtime mode, and you can see you have no quests whatsoever, nothing to go get. If we look on the map, I don't think we can see any sort of destinations or anything like that. Yeah, so I've done a full playthrough just out of curiosity what you could do in overtime mode in this build, and there's not a lot. There's no supplies that you can gather, so even though Isabella is demanding you to go pick up her supplies, there's no supplies to go get. And what's interesting is that saving is enabled in this area but it's not enabled in anywhere else in this build because they don't want, you know, E3 attendees to save the game. But in Carlito's Hideout, it is enabled, which is pretty cool. And that is a really slow animation. It doesn't even save. Never mind. Oh, what? Huh? What? Okay, sure. He falls asleep, he very quickly wakes up, and then you save. That's exactly how I take a nap, actually. Excellent. Okay, well, I wasn't lying. Saving does work. It just does that. Amazing. Take a picture of Isabel. I'm not going back in there to take a picture of Isabel. So is the E3 version the most complete build of Dead Rising before official release? No. There were plenty of builds after E3, and in fact, I have one. I have like a very late preview version of the game from June, and it's basically the same as the final game. And I would say that that's like the most complete before the game went gold. E3 is still pretty far behind. I mean, it's a good 3 months before the game came out. So, yeah. So we didn't get that military cutscene, which is kind of interesting, and the military won't spawn. So overtime mode, it just kind of loads you into like a busted 72-hour mode more than anything. But I could show you here if I just get the address for it. We could fool the game into being infinity mode, just so we can see it. Let me find that here. I have to go digging through my notes. Yes. I'll put up this because we're gonna need this. Okay. Just give me 1 second here. Here it is. So we'll just set this to infinity mode flag, and I have to turn off God mode. And there you go. So now we are technically in infinity mode. We basically changed the global flag of the game mode. There's a game mode flag that is responsible for every variable in the game. And if you set that to infinity mode, you do get to experience it. And it's a bit early. The health blinks a lot slower, so you can survive in infinity mode for like twice as long as you can ever do in the final game. But apart from that, it's not really any difference. Yeah, basically just get to see the. But you can still, like, what's interesting is you can still use your watch and your camera while in infinity mode, which I don't, for some reason they decided to remove in the final game. I don't know why. Yeah. DR1 came out today, 15 years ago. Yes, I'll fix the yellow arrow. I might actually get into the yellow arrow build, and some pretty interesting things to see in there. I don't think we've ever done a build, a stream of the 0.50, the Las Vegas build, in the fashion that we did with 0.70, where we explored it. Maybe we have. I don't know. The 0.70 live stream is the only live stream that I archived, unfortunately. All the other ones are gone. Oh yeah, you're right. The trainer is still on the screen. I'm pretty sure the build just kind of stopped working here, because this is loading a lot longer than it should. I'm going to give it like a minute. This build does have pretty long load times, but I have a feeling we got stuck. Maybe not. We'll see. If you're hearing a high frequency sound, it's just the fans in the background. I could try to tune the gain on the mic, but there's really no way to get the fans off. Yeah, the build definitely got stuck. Let's get back in. So, yeah, I think we will transition in a little bit to earlier versions of the game. Just because that's when it gets pretty funny. You should see the top of my dev kit, actually. It is a dust collector. It is unbelievable. It has a chrome sidecar, and for some reason chrome paint, like, attracts dust, and it's insane how dusty it is. Let's put some patches back on here. So I'll get back into the 72-hour mode, and we'll just kind of screw around a little bit. But then we'll transition to earlier versions. Oh, I do clean my dev kit. I clean it all the fucking time, man. It just... dust doesn't land anywhere else in the room apart from the sidecar. It's actually a pretty useful feature. Different languages when I was younger. Skill moves in different languages. Probably. This is Dead Rising 5. I don't know what you're talking about. It's been 15 years and Bill is still stuck behind those boxes. Probably, yeah. You see the assortment of apples he had back there? Oh, whoops. Let's take a look at what we can find in here. It's very close to the final game. We still, yeah, I don't know what the PP stickers are for, or even where they are. I haven't been able to figure out where those PP stickers are. I'm gonna try to take a picture and just see where they are. Hold on. Let's see. So there's one in the park for some strange reason. And I don't know, do you guys see a PP sticker somewhere around here? Because I don't. Why would there be a PP sticker on the jungle gym? What's the point? I don't see it. And I don't think these PP stickers would even count towards the achievement, so I don't see the sticker anywhere. Do you guys see one? No, I have no idea. But there is other stickers apparently that I can take a picture of. Try to see if I can find where the hell those are. What the fuck? All the way over here? It was like here somewhere. What the fuck? I'm guessing there's no actual like physical PP stickers. But yeah, it's pretty weird. Excellent. Oh, wait. There we go. This is Dead Rising at its finest. What was the point of the PP stickers? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm actually interested to get into the game and see if those pictures actually counted as PP stickers. We'll see. Yeah. Let's see. I think the picture viewer is disabled in this build. Normally, I had to patch it to bring it back, and you can kind of see why. It's very laggy. I guess the code behind it wasn't finished, but Yeah, they did. I think they counted as PP bonuses. Maybe. This is the UI for keeping a photo. It's super busted. So this is why they didn't want you to see the picture viewer. It's fucking busted. Can I delete a picture? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else in this build that we can explore that's interesting before hopping into an earlier version of the game. This build is just so ironed out that unless you're really looking for it, it's pretty hard to find differences. Yeah, it's possible that the PP stickers were in the intro were like an introduction to what PP stickers are, but they're kind of strange. Like you don't even get an idea of where they are until you just take a random photo and it's just, oh, here's where one of them is. But yeah, you can see saving is disabled in this build. Here's an actual PP sticker. And there's still the camera flash in this build. I don't know if you noticed that, but in all the earlier builds of the game, there was a camera flash, and when you take a picture, it still flashes for a brief second. Thank you, Real Bruce, for the donation. Would you consider DR mobile or CTYD more painful? Mobile. Mobile is... I'll tell you why mobile is so bad. It's because the draw distance is so bad. You cannot even see like 5 feet in front of you. And I understand they had to do that because it runs on shitty old iPhones, but man, I have an iPhone 5. It was like my first ever smartphone, and I still have Dead Rising Mobile on it. And I play it every now and then after like a few beers, and it's terrible. It's interesting, but it's terrible. So if you could find it, like if you can find that version of the game and emulate it on like an iOS emulator or whatever, I do recommend playing it. It is pretty interesting. I'm surprised it was able to run on iPhones and even an iPod Touch. Like it's pretty impressive. It's not like a good looking game, but it's pretty impressive for early Apple technology. Alright, I will bring you guys to Mr. Baller, I promise. Let's do it. I have to make my way to... There's no debug menu. I don't know if I made that clear, but this version of the game does not have a debug menu. It does have, if you hold 4 buttons down, I might have patched it out so that it doesn't happen. I can't remember if I have it in, but there is a way to display like a guide dialogue. I might have patched that out, actually. But basically, you can just display a guide dialogue that lets you return to the title screen. Nothing interesting, and it's not debug related at all. It's just like a dev feature. That is a good use of a donation, Elephant. Have I ever looked at Dead Rising Rule 34? Well, I almost commissioned Frico to make Rule 34 of Dead Rising, like jokingly, and he did actually make some. So if you dig around and you see Rule 34 of Jesse, I guarantee you it was made by Frico. Yeah, that is the button combination. I don't know why I patched it out. I think in this build I think it gets stuck when you get into that. I think I patched it out for some reason. I can't remember why. But it's not really interesting. No, I swear to God, I was not actually expecting Frico to make Rule 34. He's like, what should I draw of Dead Rising? I'm like, oh, draw Jesse. And he's like, I'm on it. I'm like, oh no. Oh no. Yeah. Alright, you want Mr. Baller? Give me a second here. I need some free cam. Let's check out the almighty Mr. Baller. Fuck, I have to get near the store first. LOD models, man. The bane of my existence. I have to get near the store so that it'll load the the actual model. I have to get past this gate here. There we go. What's up, Nefara? Alright, will it load? Please? I think it will. Yes. Now, where is Mr. Baller? There he is, in all of his glory. The biggest pimp in the Dead Rising universe. The gumball machine himself. Mr. Baller. Pretty great. Some artist actually had to draw this. Like, a human being actually had to make this. And all I want to do is just shake that person's hand. But unfortunately, I will never meet that person, so... It's been tough. And this is, hello, Mikey. Hello, Mickey. Look at that unit of a phone. Man, you could spend fucking hours in this store just looking at stupid shit. It's awesome. It's the Woody truck. Yeah. Alright. Is there a way to get Carlitos P90 and 5.7 that are shown in the cutscene? You can get the P90. I made a video of unobtainable weapons. You can actually use Carlitos P90. But not the 5.7. The 5.7 is just a cutscene asset. Alright, I think we should get into an earlier version of the game. Should we get into 0.70, which we did the live stream on a couple of years back, or should we get into an even earlier version of the game, 0.50? I'll let you guys decide. A little bit earlier than this, or a lot earlier than this? I don't know if we've ever done like a big live stream on 0.50, so. Alright, you guys want to see very early? Let's take it way back. Alright, let's do it. 0.49. Maybe next time. Maybe when I find it, I'll let you know. TGS. No, it's too early for TGS. Capcom's watching me. I can't show it yet. Not yet. So this is 0.50, which is better known as the Las Vegas version of the game. It was shown at a private Capcom convention in Las Vegas. Capcom had set up a convention hall where they would show off Dead Rising, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 5, and some other things. And yeah, it was not open to the public. You had to be a reviewer. You had to get access to see this build. And all the reviewers who wrote reviews of this build all pretty much said the same thing, that it's progressing in development, but it's unbelievably early. And it plays like shit. But yeah, you'll see. It's very early. This is something that every early version of Dead Rising does. It initially loads into this prologue cutscene. There's no sound. There's just voiceovers. But yeah, we'll just skip it because apart from like lighting and stuff like that, it's not that different. But here it is. I'm gonna lower it because this song is really loud. So we do have patches as well that I've made for this. There's all kinds of cool stuff. We can go see the original pause menu that was in development. There's like a mini version of the debug menu. There's the full debug menu. There's all kinds of shit that we can tool around with. I'm just gonna enable like the basic patches, and then we'll fuck around. This build was reused twice. So the DVD that this build came from is from March, and that's because for whatever reason, in March, like Capcom went to GDC, but they didn't have another demo to show off, so they just reused the February Las Vegas demo. And yeah, so this build got used, it kind of like TGS. TGS got used a few times as well, and they did the same with this. So if you're curious what's in options, you get a heck of a lot of options. You get two. You get English and you get Japanese. I know, it's incredible. So let's start a new game. Can't wait for a 2005 build. You and me both, brother. Like what you're about to see, if you've never seen this build or you've never seen a video that I've made on this build, you're going to see that this build is really early, but a 2005 build would just be mind-blowing to experience in terms of how early it is. Yeah, my Xbox avatar. Every time you create a profile on a dev kit, it just kind of like sets up the most generic shit. I actually went out of my way to rename it to actually Stippo. But yeah, I bought an XEDK in the anticipation that a build of Dead Rising that could run on it comes out. So it literally sits on a shelf, just in anticipation. Yeah, we got that dirty, nasty wetness everywhere. As far as I've been able to work out from reading reviews and stuff like that, the reason why the walls are so wet is because it was kind of like a demo. It was to tell the reviewers, like, look how amazing our lighting engine is. Wow, isn't it cool? And then once you leave the security room, everything looks kind of normal. So only the security room looks wet like this. When you leave it, everything looks kind of normalish. One reviewer even mentioned that, like, the most jarring thing that he noticed while playing this version is that everything looks like it was coated in glycerin. And on the Discord server, we call it lube. This guy called it glycerin. Pick your poison. But yeah, everything's just really wet. Really strange looking. Kind of looks like you're in like a different dimension. But yeah, man, it's fucking... Everything's early in this build. You got this weird early camera HUD. I don't know what Frank's doing, but he's doing it. Frank's going to great lengths to do it here. Yeah, everything's just really different. We got a debug menu, which I've made a video on. There's not a lot you can do with it, unfortunately. That, you know, you can do a couple things. You can jump to different levels and shit like that. But if you've seen the video I made, it's pretty lackluster, especially compared to Dead Rising 2. Take Jesse pics? My brother, you know me too well. And the right trigger takes a picture in this build, which is kind of weird. And the X button zooms. So if you've ever wanted to be completely fucking confused at what you're doing, this build, like, all the controls in this build are totally different. Like A zooms out, X zooms in, and right trigger takes a picture. Yeah, so. And Otis is here, of course. Does he still say fantastic? No, he doesn't say anything, actually. The game tells you the reward that you got, like nice and shit like that. I don't think Frank says anything. Yeah, you get some starter weapons and stuff. I've shown this video, this build on the channel so many times, but this probably is the first time we've done a live stream of it, of like really looking into it. So yeah, I'm gonna show you guys some things that I probably never showed in a YouTube video before. You can't go through here. That the whole area, the whole rooftop doesn't exist. The helipad as well. You can't go to that one either. So Otis instructs you to go to the pharmacy, and then this fucking arrow is just like, yeah, go this way. Pretty weird. 0.50 Willoughby. Oh, he's wet. You're gonna see Willoughby in this build is wet. He's properly wet. Yeah, the shotgun animation was pretty good. It's kind of weird, but pretty interesting. Let's check out Willoughby real quick. I have God mode, so I don't need to really worry about it. Let's see Mr. Willoughby. Oh yeah, that's a good quality Willoughby right there. And his textures are actually higher quality in this build than in the final game. So you're seeing the highest fidelity of Willoughby. Truly, doesn't get better than this. Yeah, Jeff's just doing it, man. Natalie's down there, and Jeff is unable to find her. He's just an idiot. Willoughby deserves better. Honestly, yeah. I agree. Alright. I'm gonna remove the zombies real quick. Or pause them, I guess. This is something I've never shown in a video. It's something that I just recently got working in this build. There's a mini version of the debug menu, which is... It's kind of useless because 90% of the stuff isn't actually assigned to anything, like time stop, hit Atari, all this shit. It's not actually assigned to anything. They don't, like, they intended for it to do something, but they never set it up in this build. So most of this shit, like high model off and all that shit, it doesn't do anything. But there are a few things that do actually work, like these two at the top. They just mimic the real debug menu features, but the actual cool thing about this mini menu, which I wish I showed in the debug menu video, is this mini menu has a button just for going into FreeCam, which is super cool. You can get in really quick. You can just be running around and get in anytime you want. Because the alternative to that is either using a trainer and just poking debug camera on forcefully, or the worst way to do it imaginable is in the debug menu going through all these pages and then pressing change camera mode. So Capcom was pretty nice for including this tiny little mini menu thing. But apart from that, yeah, it's pretty useless. Is this a beta version? Yes, this predates the final game by about a year. Or, well, about 8 months-ish. There's some stuff in it that's way earlier than the build date would have you believe, but yeah, about 8 months before the final game. It does. This build does have the fat zombie with the sweater. I could show you. Right here, in all of his glory. There you go. Pretty cool. It's got all the early zombies though. It's got some, some unused faces and stuff like that. It's got the early female zombie. She's pretty creepy. Look at that face, man. It's like I said on Twitter. They should have left some of these zombies in the final game because they're pretty creepy. Oh, is it really? Yeah, I'm an idiot. I was blocking it. I am a fool. Anyway, I was showing you this guy. Just it may look cool, like it may look like interesting looking zombies, but this was the only 2 fat male zombies in the entire build at this point. This was it. So while they did look cool visually, like they had a cool design, this is it, right? There wasn't like 8 different variations of them. That's it. This is all you get. So that's kind of why they changed that. They spiced it up in the final game and gave a lot more variation. Is Gat here? My man Gat. Yeah. Let's go see some shit. Let's see where Bert and Aaron is, what they're up to. Is there anything you can accomplish in the beta? Yeah. The whole point of this build, it's a demo, so it's not like a weird like 0.70 was, where it's just like play whatever's working. This build, the point of it is to actually get to the pharmacy, get the medicine, and then bring it back to Jesse. That's all it is. But we're just exploring it. We could do a full playthrough, I guess, but I'm just kind of fucking around with it. I should probably bring some zombies back. Holy shit! I did not think that many would spawn. And Bert and Aaron isn't here. I don't know where they are. They're actually supposed to spawn, but they decided not to. You want to see a good quality mirror? Look at this. That's a great mirror, isn't it? It reflects... it reflects a building when behind you is a store, but you get like an old building in like England or something. Looks great. Looks amazing. I got my plant. There's an even worse mirror actually over here. Fuck. Why am I carrying a plant? Look at this mirror. This one, you don't even get graced by the old England building. You just get... Wait, you do! You can oh my god! You get the England building. Everything is good in life now. You get a sky, you get grass, and you get the building. Everything's good. Everything's good in life. Can't save, you got no gym bathroom, but... You got it. You got it. It's all is good. This build is more polished than DR4 release, that's for sure. And I don't know if it's just been a while since I've played like a release version of the game, but I'm pretty sure the blood is a lot darker too. Like a lot more saturated. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, someone's messaging me about this temp reflection. You could, I think this building still exists in the Final Games files, like as like a cube map texture. I think it is still in there. It's just the game never uses it, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, it's pretty weird. I never knew that if you look at this from the right angle, you could see the building. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Frank's appearance is completely different in this build. I can give you guys a look at him. He had different hair. Very different hair. Much more realistic looking, in my opinion anyway. And he had a really dark jacket. And, yeah. And he's a bit skinnier too, which is kind of hard to show, but he was a bit skinnier. His jacket is like clipping through his legs and everything. He's just tinier. The guide arrow. Someone's mentioning the guide arrow freezes. Yeah, it does. Yeah. The guide arrow is apparently it's important that Frank's moving. Weird. I never noticed that. There's no doors here. Or they're just opened and they're stuck open. I don't know. His barber did him dirty. Yeah. All right, let's grab the fire extinguisher because that's important. Very important. Look how many fucking zombies render, man. Let me put them back on. Holy shit. And this is like day 1. Or what? Day 2? This is insane. There we go. Excellent. So, yeah, the fire extinguisher used to be like a sprayable thing that you can aim. In the final game, they just made it so when you're not aiming, you can just do like 360 degrees, or you could spin around. But in early versions of the game, you used to be able to aim it. And the reason they took this out is because it looks fine, but when you're looking at at the wrong angle, the foam kind of stops working correctly. And it just kind of lags the game, and I don't think they were able to figure out a way to make it run well. So it's just shitty. It doesn't coat them in foam or anything like that. I just ran out of ammo apparently. But yeah, this plaza has the most zombies, I believe. Well, in the final game, most likely, but in this, like, it's just ridiculous. No, that's 0.70, where the foam will just like eject out of Frank for no real apparent reason. That build is a nightmare. Yeah, aiming would be a lot better for Paul. All right, let's see here. What have I not shown in a video that is interesting in a stream? I've done some deep dives into this version of the game, so there's not a heck of a lot that we can look at that we haven't seen before. But you know, we can get a closer look at some of this stuff. These are just like the unloaded models, but for whatever reason, the unloaded models of stages are like super early prototype levels, blockouts, if you will. So everything is just very rough, and if you want a better example of that, we can see the blockout of Entrance Plaza. The dictionary definition of waste. Yeah. Yeah, 0.70 is a piece of shit. It's interesting that someone decided, because it's hard to get the point across that this version that you're seeing right here is like a demo, right? Like, it was made for a purpose. It was burned to a DVD because they would bring that DVD to a convention. The 0.70 build is burned to a DVD for no reason at all. I think a developer just felt, oh, this is a milestone worth keeping, because it was never shown. 0.70 was never demoed. It was never played by reviewers, as far as I've been able to work out. So I don't know what the purpose of 0.70 is, and it just seems like a waste of a DVD. It could have easily just been files on a hard drive on an Xbox dev kit, but some developer felt it was such an important build that he would put it on a DVD. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll show you this super early Paradise Plaza here. This is definitely the coolest one. This is, I guess, as early as Paradise Plaza could ever get. This is like, you know, this just left their 3D modeling program. You know, someone just got back from lunch break and whipped this up. So this is just probably the earliest blockout of Entrance Plaza you would ever see. You can see the pond doesn't even resemble the version in the final game at all. It doesn't have a clock tower. It doesn't have like the placement for the clock tower. It's got like 2 rings instead. And what's interesting is there's no footage of Dead Rising pre-release that ever shows a pawn like this, so they must have just threw this in and then quickly iterated on it, you know, as geometry started to build up. But it's pretty funny, you know, you got these just purple and yellow pillars. The stairs are here, you know, somewhat. They're really skinny, but they are here. Like, even the escalator's here. But it's just this. Like, this is your escalator, right? But it does serve a pretty good view of Entrance Plaza. And what's cool is it has more stores than what ended up being put into Entrance Plaza. In the final game, this store right here near the escalators, it was removed. They just kind of covered it over with a wall. But yeah, they were intending on putting a store here. So that's pretty cool. You can kind of get like a top-down view of how the second floor would have been. But the shape is pretty much the same. I don't know why there's a yellow store here. I've never been able to work that out, why everything else is purple and this is yellow, but sure. But yeah, that's it. There it is. Is it hard to find copies of these builds? Very much so. Yeah, there's only 7 DVDs known to exist. Now that's known to exist. There could be collectors out there that have more, but known to exist, there's 7 DVDs. So they're pretty damn rare, and that's in contrast to Dead Rising 2, where there's like 500 review DVDs out there. So yeah, I was getting attacked by zombies that whole time. This is a view. Coming for that cheese at 3 a.m. Me raiding the fridge for cheese. You know, we should actually... That fire extinguisher thing makes me realize we should get into 0.70 and fuck around in that. It's just, yeah, we've never done a live stream of this build, as far as I can remember. Yeah. There's unfortunately no test rooms in this build, or any build of Dead Rising that has been found. Although the debug menu very clearly mentions the existence of all kinds of test levels, none of them exist. If you were to load into enemy test room, this is what you get. I don't know why they removed them. Even in the 0.70 build, all the test levels are removed. It could be that Capcom stopped using test levels pretty early into development, and they just tested shit in the normal levels. But it's kind of unfortunate, you know. It has references to all the E3 rooms and the TGS levels and all that, but none of them exist. So nothing can be done. 0.70 was laggy, right? 0.70 redefines the meaning of laggy. It's unbelievable. But yeah, there's no collision, there's nothing in this build. You're walking on like a plane of nothing, but if you drop an item, it just falls right through. So you get nothing. And what's weird about these builds is in the files, there's like no test data either. I found a test version of a door and a test version of like a soccer ball, basically like a round thing. Those are the only 2 test assets in the entire game, in any version of Dead Rising that we've been able to find. So either Capcom was very carefully picking out all their test shit before they compiled a build, or they didn't really use a lot of test assets and test levels. It's hard to say. Yeah, here's the... I made a video on my second channel pretty recently of this. This is the pause menu that you're not supposed to see. This is locked away. Yeah, thanks EA. This is this is basically like the work in progress pause menu that they very carefully hid away in this build. And after a little bit of tweaking, I was able to bring it back. And it's super buggy. You just push down on the D-pad once, and it's so fucking annoying to use. And a lot of pages don't do anything. You know, you get scoop and you have fuck all in scoop. But some of them do work. You know, some of them work sorta. The map is pretty impressively working, I guess. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Not exactly sure what this is. Is Capcom even doing anything to celebrate 15 years of Dead Rising? No, I don't think they are. That's why I decided the least I can do is stream. If Capcom Japan were to post a tweet or something, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I don't think they will. It's not like 15 years is a milestone, like 10 years was, I guess. You know, the 10-year anniversary brought Dead Rising to PC. I don't think Capcom really gives a shit that it's been 15 years. Kind of an arbitrary number, you know. If they're gonna celebrate 15 years, why not celebrate 12 years? So, yeah. But this is an early version of the pause menu. Very terrible, and the picture viewer does not work. Even if you take a picture and you look at it, this is what you get. Doesn't matter if you're taking a picture of the void like I just did or a picture of Jesse. It doesn't really matter what you do. This is what it looks like. That's gonna win the Pulitzer Award right there. And you can't save pictures or anything. You could delete, which is cool, but you can't like save any of them. It doesn't even tell you what the picture was worth of PP. It just, the text is all fucked up on the top. Yeah, let's actually go somewhere. Somewhere that exists. Kent is sweating somewhere. Yeah, man. I pull up to Kent with those pictures in my arsenal. Fuck. I keep hitting my microphone. Sorry about that. Some developer had to carefully place these cones here, which I always find is really funny. Someone just decided, okay, well, if there's going to be a bowling ball, then we have to put cones. Which is pretty great. And it makes a bowling pin sound and everything. It's great. I don't know why it does, but it does. Yeah. Yeah, it'll make bowling pin sounds no matter what you hit too. It's just pretty funny. And that sound file is still in the final game. It just doesn't use it. So it could be brought back. Like I think there's code to just not render the hit sound for that, but it is still in the final game, which is pretty cool. So you could bring back Wii Bowling if you wanted to. It's pretty great. Yeah, the sound must be pretty low. Sorry about that. I could boost it a little bit. OBS doesn't give me a really clear indication of voice to game audio, so let's try that. Mall music, no, it doesn't play in Leisure Park. Yeah, that's 0.70. And the hardware store unfortunately doesn't exist in this build. I don't know why they just for some reason didn't include it. Like they could have included like a block out, but if you go into it, it loads forever. Or is it 0.70? Yeah, this one. Yeah, it doesn't. It exists, quote unquote, where like placement of junk is there, but physically it's not there. So I don't know why. It's kind of weird. You could actually see there. I don't know if that was obvious or not. I'll have to like jump around here, but the unloaded version of the hardware store was like completed. So I don't know why they couldn't just render that. At least the unloaded version. It's raining, man. Oh. This is the walking animation with the chainsaw, apparently. There it is. Someone put a lot of effort into that. Look at that. That's great. Wow. I was wondering why, like, every time I have, like, a bad dead zone in my controller, and every time, like, the player stops moving, it was doing this. My controller's kind of clapped out. Yeah, but fuck, I was trying to... Oh, I could load through. The unloaded version is there. If I can load back. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Yeah, see, like, it physically exists, so I don't know why they couldn't just render at least that, or at least a blockout. But in the data, you know, in the files of this build, the hardware store, like, the physical, actual model doesn't exist, so that's why it renders nothing. But we can go check it out, I guess, with Debug Cam. Doesn't look any different from the final game. But, I mean, it's all here. It's even got... the things for Cliff to jump into and shit. It's all here. It just doesn't render it for some reason. Can go into the Raining Man room. Will the helicopter come in this build? No. I have the timer frozen with the trainer. This is basically what I have running here. I have freeze game time, so that's why you're always seeing 50 hours remaining. But if I disable that, when the 50 hours runs up, it just says, you know, coming in 2006. It's the same as E3. Just tells you that the build is, or the game's coming out pretty soon. Whatever. But yeah. Examine. What the fuck is this? I can only imagine this is the lawnmower. Right? I think the lawnmower spawns pretty close to the parasol. Yeah. So this is what the lawnmower does. I don't think I've ever seen that before. The lawnmower is like a mall object. Or like a loading zone. That's pretty cool. Where is it? What is this? Yeah, okay, they're lawnmowers. It just says entries under construction. Sure. 2 objects. You know what? I actually know what these are. I experimented with what these things were. These are actually the blowtorch that Otis uses. Believe it or not, in early versions of the game, like much earlier than this version of the game, they intended you to use the blowtorch that Otis welds the door with, which is really weird. I don't even know how that would be useful. But yeah, these two are... You can't do anything with them, unfortunately, but these two are for that. I can't even pick up a propane tank, actually, which is weird. Oh, I could. So there's collision, you know what I mean? Like, on those test levels, they had no collision on the ground. When you drop an item, they just fell. But this build does have, like, floor collision for this level, so it's pretty weird. Can Otis blow my torch? Probably not. Maybe if you ask him nicely. If you answer all his calls, then yeah, maybe. Here, we can get a good green screen view of the foam. There you go. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of unfortunate that they canceled this, or that they removed this from the final game. Because, yeah, I mean, saving Paul would have been a joke to use this. Aim it pretty much anywhere. Yeah. Can you play as Otis? Not normally. What the hell? What did I just load into? North Plaza? I guess. Oh yeah, North Plaza. Cool. So that was the hardware store, if you're curious. There's no doors that render here in the storage room, but I can't go through it. Yeah, this build is really fucking weird. But keep in mind, you know, we started with E3 2006, and that is a build where the general public were allowed to play it, and that's why that build was so polished. I mean, even TGS 2005 was, in its own way, really polished, right? Like, the build wouldn't just crash for no apparent reason. It was really well polished for a 2005 build, and that's because the general public was intended to play it. But this build, not at all. This build was played by reviewers in like a really warm, sweaty gymnasium in Las Vegas. You know, just to paint the scene. This build was not at all played by just random people, right? So they didn't really spend much time curating it. It is kind of interesting that they put like a purpose into this build. You know, get to the supermarket and get the medicine, which we can go do. But yeah, it's super early. They basically just took whatever they had working at the time. They put like a little mission for the reviewer to do, go get the medicine and bring it back, and that's it. But everything else around it is super early and not working correctly. And footage was not allowed to be taken of this build, actually. So if a reviewer like tried to take a picture of the build, they were asked not to. Some pictures did leak out of this convention hall in Las Vegas, and it shows this build being played by, you know, just press, right? But they were allowed to write reviews of what they were seeing, but they weren't allowed to take pictures. So playing the build today and seeing it in this way is really interesting and really weird, because you're seeing what like only a handful of people were allowed to see. So it's pretty interesting. And I can only imagine their experience was as weird as ours is. This build runs like shit. And I guarantee you one developer or one reviewer probably accidentally pressed the right buttons and opened the debug menu. Like, the debug menu is not locked away at all in this build. You know, all it took is for someone playing this build and writing a review about it to accidentally press these buttons and, oh, what's this? So, yeah, it's pretty weird. Let's try to do this boss battle. It likes to crash. Yeah, I mean, if the general public was to see the build in this state, it would be the laugh stock of the year for sure. But it is impressive how much they got done between TGS 2005 and this build. I mean, we're only talking like 4 months at best, not even, like maybe 3 months between that. And they added all this stuff. You know, in TGS 2005, there wasn't even the full mall yet. There was concourse and a few areas here and there. So in those 3 months, you know, no matter how shitty this build is, no matter how terrible it runs, and no matter how different it is, it's pretty impressive how much they crunched into it in 3 months. Kind of like how E3 is impressive in that way too. You know, 0.70 came out, and that build is just a pile of shit. And then E3 comes out a month later, and it's like super polished. You know, so it's pretty cool. Trying to read some chat here. Yeah, I have God mode, so we're not too worried about Steven, but... Oh, it crashed. Nice, it crashed. We could debug it and try to figure out why it crashed. Let me see here. window capture. Give me a second here. Let's try to see what happened. What the fuck is going on with OBS? How do I transform? Yeah, fit to screen. Apparently that's fitting to screen. Yeah, we can maybe see what caused that to crash and maybe get around it. But I think it was related to the shotgun. And when the shotgun crashes the build, it's like a fucking nightmare of a crash. Yeah. I think this is the shotgun crash, actually. We could try to fix this. I don't think we'll be able to fix this. I'm just kind of curious at this point. Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to fix our way out of this. It gets into like a really terrible rendering bug. There's pretty much not a lot you can do. Whatever. Fuck it. Let's dive into 0.70. A little bit later. And a lot less polished. Hopefully OBS kind of figures it out. OBS does not like an Xbox 360 reloading itself, so let's see. I broke the sound velocity. I hate when I break the speed of sound. This is all fucked up now. Configure video, standard resolution. There you go. Let me know if like video isn't working or something. I wouldn't be surprised with OBS lately. Yeah, so won't go too much longer. We've been streaming for 2 hours already. But this is 0.70, so we'll kind of end it on a weird note. This is the same build that we streamed back in 2018. There's a few things that I've done to it that have allowed us to show more things than I was able to show in the previous video or stream. But yeah, it's still as early as ever. I patched a couple crashes out. So in that in that 2018 stream, I mean, you would pick up like a knife and the build would crash, or you would insert the knife into a zombie and it was not the right zombie model for it and it would crash. It was just fucking unbelievable. So I spent the better part of like a week just going through every single crash that you could get and trying to figure out why it does that, and I patched out a good majority of them. So the build runs better, but it still runs like a pile of shit. So let's show you that. I think we showed over Infinity Mode the last time we streamed. Yeah, I think we did. We can just get into 72-hour mode. He really wanted you out of his store, so the build crashed. Yeah. Yeah, 0.50, that previous build, that's pretty much one of the only crashes that you encounter, is the shotgun. It causes some shader bug. I think it's like too many particles or whatever. Something's going on where like when the projectile actually hits an object, it just causes it to crash sometimes. But apart from that, there's not really any issues with that build. It's pretty stable. And but 0.70, like this build is the complete opposite, and there's no audio, by the way, in this cutscene. But the reason for that is, yeah, this build was just someone came into the office one day and they were like, what I have working currently on my dev kit or on my development PC is something worth keeping. So they burned it to a DVD, and here it is. I've looked for years to try to figure out where this build came from, if any reviewers ever actually got to play this build, and I haven't been able to. It's just some strange build that someone compiled. It doesn't make sense. It's super internal, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool because of that. It's something that no one was supposed to see. No reviewer was supposed to see this. No magazine was supposed to take pictures of this or whatever. It's just super internal and super cool because of that. Steven wants you out of his store, so crashes your Xbox. Yeah. But there's not a lot to show in this build that we didn't show pretty in depth in the last stream. Stippo360 of YouTube. Only the OGs remember. I still remember the morning that I woke up and I looked at my username on YouTube and it was Stippo360. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is the dumbest username I've ever seen. And it was just, like, really bothering me in that moment. And I knew I had to change it. But if I go change it to, like fucking something completely different, no one would know who the hell just uploaded a video on their subscription feed, right? So I had to keep it somewhat logical or somewhat reminiscent of the old name. So I just dropped 360, added a little cheeky lowercase I and a 0, and boom. That's how it's born. This build has the facial animations, and I'll show you a cutscene of that. Thank you, Giggle Fist. Love you, brother. Frodis. Where does Stippo come from? Like the actual spelling of Stippo? It's in 2007. I needed a username, and back in 2007, YouTube was like super strict on using someone else's username. Nowadays, like you can almost create a username of like someone that of an account that already exists. But back in 2007, they were really strict on that, and no matter what username I would use, it was taken. Like I tried my own name, and it didn't work. I tried everything, and I couldn't get it. So I eventually just mashed on my keyboard until something fucking worked. And Stippo didn't work, so it's like, oh, do you want to add 360 to the end of that? And I'm like, okay, sure. And it worked. Thank you, Putrid. Love you, buddy. Nobody knows Putrid here, but he's my boy. Yeah, I'm Canadian. I learned years later that apparently Stippo is like a foreign word for like a piece of furniture, like a cabinet or something. I don't know. It's like a Greek word or like a Polish word for a cabinet or something. So that was kind of I kind of dodged a bullet because Stippo could have easily meant something really terrible, and here I am building my whole channel off of a terrible, like a slur or something. But yeah, kind of dodged a bullet with that. But Stippo is still a really dumb name, and I just stuck with it because it just stuck. People knew the name, so I kind of had no choice. Our wine is in the Stippo. In the previous build, there was that mini debug menu where it was like you can use a couple different functions, and in 0.70 it has it too. Here it is. You push left stick and you get it, but they whittled it down to only 2 things. It's just damage and vital always full, which it just mimics these 2 right here. Yeah. Thank you, Victor, for the donation. Have you ever played Resident Evil 1.5? No, but I've watched an unhealthy amount of videos on it, on the history of Resident Evil 1.5. An unhealthy amount, similar to Dead Rising amounts. Is it actually a Serbian name? Yeah. Yeah, I really wanted to change my username in that moment when I was trying to create another one, but I couldn't. I knew that at that time I probably had like, I don't know, maybe 2,000 subscribers, and I knew that if I just go changing my name, it's going to just confuse a lot of people, and it just wasn't worth it. So, Stippo stuck. Hold on, I got a Facebook message here. Yeah. There is something pretty interesting. I'm going to show you that cutscene here real quick, that facial animation cutscene. I made a video on this. This is Frank's really early facial expressions. It's not expressions, it's just the modifier for like how much his face can move was a lot higher. So his eyebrows can move way higher up and squint and stuff like that, and it just made Frank look really concerned all the time. And it's not necessarily better, it's just cool to see. My favorite game is not Resident Evil 6, you motherfucker. This guy, this whole ass man, made me play every second of Resident Evil 6, and that includes all the special mission bullshit co-op things in Resident Evil 6. I hate Resident Evil 6 so much that after we finished playing it, I removed the key from my account. I deleted the game off of my account. It's that fucking bad. But, yeah. I had to do it. Resident Evil 5 was good, though. Me and Putrid, we had a mod where it removes, like, that disgusting filter in Resident Evil 5 where everything's, like, green. That was pretty cool. But, yeah. What did I want to... Oh, yeah. I gotta show you guys something. There's a debug feature in this build, which is not in any other build of Dead Rising that I've been able to work out, and it's, I'll have to get into a cutscene to show it. So give me a second here. I'm gonna have to skedaddle my way. But there's like a visual debug representation of hair nodes. So if there's a female character that has like flowing hair, you can draw the nodes of all the hair, like where it can freely move around and stuff. And it's pretty cool. No other build of Dead Rising that I've looked at has it, so it's pretty interesting. I just have to get past all the intro shit here, and I'll show you that the Jesse scene has it. Yeah, this build has some shitty collisions. Yeah. Whoops. Okay. And you can kill survivors in this build. There you go. That's as much as Lindsay has to offer. One punch to the face, and that's it. These guys are a bit more resilient. Yeah. Are you happy Capcom Vancouver is no longer running, only in terms of not having control of DR anymore? It's kind of hard to find any happiness in that, because I know a lot of people at Capcom Vancouver who, you know, all lost their job and they moved on to different things. But there's no benefit of Capcom Vancouver closing down like that. But it is a good thing in a way that Capcom now has control of the IP. Not that they're doing anything with the game. Like they probably won't for a long time. But it's a good thing that at least the game is back with the Japanese developers. There's a chance that a Dead Rising 5 could be like Dead Rising 1 or 2, which is nice. What are your feelings of Case West off the record? OTR was cheesy, but I was just happy to be Frank again. I never got a chance to play Case West co-op. I never had a friend that owned Case West at the time, so I never got to experience like the real fun of Case West, which is unfortunate. And now it's not on PC, so you can't really do anything about that. But Case West on its own was awesome, and just like Off the Record was just improving on everything Dead Rising 2 did. So both great. Case Zero is still probably like the best like aesthetic for Dead Rising 2, like just this little town. It was pretty great. The setting of Case West was kind of weird. It's just in that that laboratory. It's not like a really pleasing place to be in. But yeah, you know, bringing Frank and Chuck together in like a canon version of the game was pretty cool. So, holy shit, what is happening? Okay, I just wanna get to Jesse here. Give me 1 second. I just want to show you that hair debug thing. And you can also see some early facial animations here. Yeah, well, Lindsay, yeah, man, Lindsay lets in all the zombies, so I mean, I'm just doing you guys a service by kicking the shit out of her. Yeah. Case West was cool. It was interesting. So here's the debug nodes. Brad has 2 of them for some reason on, I guess, his holster. And Jessie, you'll see in a second here, Jessie has all kinds of like face nodes. So her breasts have jiggle bones and her hair has jiggle bones and stuff. So for some reason in this build, Capcom added a debugger for that. It was probably a moment in time where they were just getting hair physics working, and they needed some kind of debug, you know, visualizer for that. So they added it. It wasn't in 0.50. It's not in E3. It's taken completely out of the E3 build and the final game. So it only exists in this build. That's pretty cool. I know. Where's Brad's hair? You don't get to see his jiggle bone, his locks. Yeah, it's cloth physics. I mean, it's literally called U-Cloth Debugger, but it's hair physics and breast jiggle bone physics. It's, yeah.
Nice camera.
There it is. And you can see Brad leaves behind his 2 nodes. I wish Willoughby had jiggle bones, man. But here it is. There's other versions of Dead Rising that you can see from like trailer footage that had their own debug features. Like there's this one build of Dead Rising that we only have trailer footage of, and it showed like weird debugging stuff for the camera. Like when you're in the camera view, it showed like just like debug diagnostic information, and that's not in any other version of the game. So Capcom would periodically add debug tools into the game and then remove them when they were no longer needed. So it's pretty cool that 0.70 has the cloth visualizer. Yeah, it's cool. I don't think there's any other build of Dead Rising that has it. At least not much later than this. Because E3 is only a month after this, and E3 does not have it. So. And nor does the final game. Yeah. And it shows up in game too, I'm pretty sure. You can see it in game. Does Ronald have jiggle bones? God, I hope so. Let's see. Yeah, it shows up in game here. And Jesse doesn't sit on a chair. Let me get my debug cam here. Jesse doesn't need to sit on a chair. She uses those gams. Look at that strength. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it shows in game 2. You can get a pretty good look at it here. It's just cloth nodes. Fuck. There you go. Pretty interesting. Pretty pointless, but pretty interesting. Yeah. There's also this is annoying. In the final game, you just talk to Otis for just a brief moment, and he gives you the shit you need. In this build, you have to keep talking to Otis. So he talks to you here, and then you have to prompt him again, just so that he eventually gives you what you need. Here, take this transceiver. Like, it's much longer, and it's really annoying. And the best part is, it doesn't even tell you that he gave you the transceiver. And I think if you go into key items, oh, it does tell you have it. But this is the only way you can know that you have the transceiver and the mall map. It doesn't tell you that you actually got it. So then this prompt just shows up, and it's working. Talking to Otis more is a good thing. I don't agree. I don't agree. And I think we can kill the survivors in this build in the security room. Like, we can kill Otis, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we could. Yeah, the pause menu is super early. And it still has that weird scoops menu. Pointlessly. But yeah, let me get an item. Or, yeah, 2x4 will do. I'm pretty sure we can kill Otis. Pretty sure we could. This is going to answer the prayers of a lot of people. If we can. You can do it in 0.50, but... Oh yeah. Yeah, you can kill him. No problem. Otis Washington is dead. That is worthy of a picture. And his name is Cheryl Jones. Just in case you didn't see that. His name is Cheryl Jones. NPC 45, Cheryl Jones. What a name. And, here you go. I beat Dead Rising. I won. I did it. This is it. You don't go further than this. You take it. You take his clothes off and you beat Otis. This is it. You win. I am an expert. An expert of the Dead Rising. There you go. Fuck. Oh, you can even kill Jesse too, but... I don't know, YouTube probably has some law against that or something. Nobody cares about Otis, but you don't want to kill Jesse. Jeff doesn't have a golf club, which is pretty funny. And this door is just always open.
Anyone there?
I'm gonna save Jeff and Natalie real quick. The name's Jeff Mayer, by the way. Excellent. Follow me, buddy. In the scoop menu, it's supposed to tell you which mission that person... Yeah, it never works. There's no version of Dead Rising that ever actually used the scoop menu, but it's believed that it would show you survivor like information of where, you know, what scoop or what side mission they would... What the fuck? What is happening? What is going on? Is this because I killed Otis? Is this the curse? Is this what happens when you kill Otis? The game very clearly tells you that you have violated the law. Oh, there you go. I got out of it. This is how most conversations go, by the way. Now in COVID era. Fuck that 6 feet apart shit. This is how you talk to people safely in the new world right here. This. And they're still talking. Yeah, well, you know. Yeah. Imagine. This is it. Alright, let's save him. Because Natalie, for whatever reason, when you save her in the security room, her arm, like, breaks. I am paying for my sins. I'm paying for my sins every day I play this fucking broken-ass piece of shit game. Alright, let's save these guys. Otis forgets he's dead. What does he care? Oh, yeah, you can't... Oh, you could kick a soccer ball. That's cool. In an earlier version, you can't, but in this, you could. All right, let's save them. Top 10 movie dialogues. Where's Natalie? What are you doing? Let's go. The AI, if you could believe it for 1 second, the AI is even worse in this than it is in the final game. I know, right? How can the AI be any worse than it is in the final game? But here it is. There it is. I cannot tell her to follow me. This way, please. Please, this way. Up.
Come on! Over there!
What are you doing? Up. Oh my god, you did it. Anime girl run, yeah. Anime girls when they're late for school. And there's a PP sticker that's just floating. For some apparent reason.
Fantastic.
Alright. If you watch really closely, you're gonna see Natalie's arm is all like fucked up. You're gonna see. Watch this. What's going on? It's sometimes worse than that. Like it's like some like RNG shit for some reason. But for some reason, sometimes her arm is like really long. It wasn't that bad there, but I think I have a picture of it when it was like really bad ones, and her arm's like 5 fucking feet long. But where's Jeff and Natalie? Did we save them? I'm pretty sure survivors appear saved in this build when you rescue them, but it doesn't seem like they're anywhere to be found. Yeah, no, I guess they don't. They don't appear. Yeah, the text gradient was a really ugly color in this build. It's terrible. Here, just because it has to be done. There you go. 2 exclamation marks. I'm gonna add that to my cringe collection. Perfect. Her name's... What's her name? Ray Matheson, NPC 40. Interesting. And Otis is back, the fucker! Son of a bitch. You asshole. I won't allow this. Someone took a good screenshot on Discord of the Ray. That's great. Yeah, you can't. You unfortunately can't permanently kill them. They always come back. Do I have God mode? Yeah, I do. Stream for a little bit longer here. Still a couple dumbass things I can show you in this build. Killed Booze McGee. C3PO. What else? What else is weird? Let me see here. Can't think of anything other that we haven't shown before in a stream. Someone says that the PP sticker translated to Yobi. Interesting, I didn't even notice. It actually says Yobi in a couple places. Anytime you take a picture of something that gives you like 1 PP point or something, it says Yobi or something like that. It's weird. I refuse to live in a world where I watch Otis die on stream twice. Well, before the stream is over, you're gonna watch it a 3rd time. Yogi Bear. Yeah, she's back. She doesn't care. I mentioned this in the last live stream we did on this, but you can't play this build further than the than the Carlito fight. I do have a patch to work around that, and it kind of works. Like, we'll try it. You can continue to play past the Carlito fight, but the build then starts to just fail very quickly. So you'll kind of see that. For whatever reason, this build spawns way too many zombies in Entrance Plaza. So it just runs like or Paradise Plaza just runs like shit. I think that's the greatest goal of a 15th anniversary, is to kill Otis, and we've already successfully done it twice. It's more than Capcom will do for us, so might as well, right? Holy shit, the performance in this build is... You want to see the frame rate? Hold on.
Yeah.
If I can remember... Yeah, frame? 21 FPS in this specific area, but if we look over here... 18 frames a second. Mwah! Amazing. So yeah. 0.70 wasn't the frame rate this build gets. That's clever. That's good. That's very good. Is Movie Land rendered? Yeah. Yeah. It just doesn't have any, like, it doesn't have any reflections on the floor and all that shit. Here's $1. Please don't kill Otis. Fine. Fine. Otis has been... I already killed him twice. So, I'll spare him this time. Tomorrow, at midnight exactly, I'll do another live stream where I kill Otis again. Go in Movie Land? Okay. Okay. We'll deviate from the Carlito battle real quick. I'll show you Movie Land. It's really not that interesting. Looks like when I try to run it on PC. Is Dead Rising really that hard to run on PC? I don't know. I don't have like a... I don't got a rig, and I could still run it pretty good. You gonna watch Ratman? Yeah, brother. Of course. Oh yeah, there's this is the... If I can do it. Apparently not. What the fuck is happening to the... I can't break the glass for some reason, but you can shoot the glass a lot of times and it doesn't shatter. Does it even shatter? Wow. It does not shatter. That's great. Let me go write a message real quick. A very important message for the future generation. I should have got an Uzi, shouldn't I? This is gonna take a long time. I just want to write hi. It's so laggy. And I'm sure the bullet decals will start to disappear soon and ruin my artistic masterpiece here. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. That one is going in my collection. Oh yeah, look at this. That's mwah, beautiful. You couple that with the picture of dead Otis and dead Jesse, I mean, can't beat that. Yes, I want to keep this photo. Excellent. Quality stream. Beautiful. Thank you. I've never revealed my artistic talents, but I finally have. And oh, it's bugging out. The HUD's bugging out. Holy shit. All right. Let's leave. Movie Land runs a bit better. Yeah, man, I'm gonna start selling those Redbubble window glass high shirts. I'm gonna show Kent my 3 pictures. He's gonna love those. This is my most violent shot. Alright, let's go. I think I have the time frozen in this build. Let me unfreeze that. Actually it does work. Oh. Ooh. Not so well. It works up until a point where it looks like this, but yeah. The rest of Movie Line is pretty normal. I think the mirrors in the bathroom are really busted. No, they're not. That's incredible. Look at this. That's going in my collection. All of these images, when combined together, are gonna win the Pulitzer Award. You'll see. Frank is leaving Willamette with like an arsenal of pictures. Just groundbreaking photos. I'm actually surprised because in every other bathroom, the mirror is like destroyed. It doesn't work properly. Yeah, there's nothing else in here though. Could still oh, Otis, even though we killed him twice, he's got some bullshit to say. Someone inside the camera shop in Wonderland Plaza. Yeah, so that's an early version of that scoop. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. This build does not like spawning survivors. It just crashes if it does. Here's $7. Please kill Otis again. Well, now you're competing with the other guy's donation, man. That's... Ooh. That's tough. That's tough. That's mean. That's really mean. I promise you, I'm gonna upload a YouTube video of montages of just killing Otis. Also, the toy balls don't disappear, so you can actually flood this place with toy balls. I don't take bribes. No, I'm gonna have to make a second channel video of all the ways you can kill Otis. Because even with Watchdog patches, like on PC, I made patches where you can shoot your gun in the security room and all that shit, but you still can't kill Otis. I'm pretty sure the beta is the only way you could kill security room survivors, so it's the only way to witness such glory. But yeah, anyway, the yellow balls don't delete. They're pretty funny. And they, wow, you can actually interact with them when you... Hold on a minute here. Let me remove the zombies. You can't shoot the balls. But if you... Wow, look at that. They still retain their physics. If you put something on them, they scatter around. That's... Why is this so impressive to me? Look at that. That's cool. It's interesting. Is there a sticker on this guy? No. Is there any way to play as other characters like Jesse and Otis? You can model swap Frank to play as Jesse and Otis, but there's not any way to do it normally. Ball physics. Yeah. It was worth going in here because we got to see the important ball physics. Alright, let's go defeat Carlito and play a little bit further, and then I think we'll call it a day. But whoa, look at the lighting in here. That's super good. That looks great. Jesus. Yeah, it's actually sad. I should have put that in the physics engine video, or the whatever video I called that, where I showed all the cool little details. I forget every video I upload, man. I put out a video and I completely fucking forget what I made. Larry was the butcher. Indeed. DashCon ball pit vibes. That's great. That guy wins. I think the build just crashed. Or is stuck in an infinite loading. I'll give it a second, but I think we're in an infinite loading here. Matt Fulbright, hell yeah. Come on, I didn't even do anything. Why does it have to infinitely load, man? I did nothing to it. All I did was place a couple yellow balls around the place. We have to reload the build. That's just sickening. Oh yeah, I showed this in the last live stream. Whenever you reload an early Dead Rising build, this is what it does. If there's any people who suffer from seizures, look away now. This is this even happens in early builds of Lost Planet. I've never been able to ask anyone what causes it. But it's just like some rendering bug with early versions of MT Framework games. It just does this. The colors just get all fucked up. And if you press the guide button, it goes away. Don't know why. And that's not just Dead Rising. It does that in Devil May Cry beta builds. It does that in Lost Planet beta builds. I don't know why. That's pretty weird. Deadrising.exe. Yeah, exactly. I could show you the ranking screen in here. It's all Japanese. Same as E3. Like, it's surprisingly, it's really not that different from the final game. It's just like the English text isn't ready, so it's mostly Japanese. You can still switch between world and friend. As far as I know, that's all you can do. Yeah, that's it. It just crashed. It literally just crashed. Fuck. This build, it's great. Should be #1 for killing Otis. I would love to draw like my own little, it wouldn't be real, but like just draw my own leaderboard stats or whatever to that. That'd be pretty funny. Clean your dev kit. My dev kit is clean, sir. I know, right? 0.70 crashing. Who would have thought that it would crash? And every time OBS reloads this, I have to configure video settings and change the expanded color to standard so it's not all blown out contrast. Fuck. My plan worked, telling him to get to Movie Land to crash the game. The ultimate troll. You son of a bitch. Fortnite stream win. That's tomorrow, man. Kill Otis 100 times in a row for $20. How desperate are you for Otis kills? I would do it for 2 cents. Okay, let's try to skedaddle our way through here. We can go into infinity mode. I don't know if that's a good idea because it's even worse than 72-hour mode. We probably won't last more than 5 minutes. It'll crash all the time. If I wonder about that. If I get my Xbox dev kit onto Xbox Live, it might render leaderboards, like the ranking menu. I don't know. I don't currently have any way to get my dev kit onto Xbox Live, but who knows? Probably runs on the same server. I don't see why it wouldn't. So. Oh yeah, Carlito has cloth physics too. There they are. Let me just turn all this shit on here. Yeah, he's got cloth physics too for his hair. I never knew his hair moved in game, but apparently it does. Yeah, he's got cloth physics for his hair. Pretty impressive. I'm sure every time I put my controller down, it probably shatters everyone's ears. I'm so sorry. Yeah, this stream's probably gonna get archived. I mean, YouTube doesn't even give me the option to say no. It's just like, here it is. It's public now. So I'm just gonna let it go public. Maybe. We'll see. Unless it's like copyrighted to shit and it's like blocked in every country apart from China or something, then no. But if it's working, then sure. I drop kicked my controller, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna put my controller down like that anymore. I'm a terrible person for that. No wonder my controller has so many dead zones, man. I just fucking treat it like shit. Yeah, I got a really bad dead zone in the left stick. Is it dead zone or drift? Whatever. Doesn't register all the time. Totally has nothing to do with the way I treat it though, you know? No, not at all. Hello, Mike. Mike Matai. Huh. Take care, NS. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up pretty soon here. Anything else that I could show you with this build we've shown in the previous stream, so it's all the same. It's super early, super weird. I try to mention this in every single video, but there's a forum post that I made on the Dead Rising modding forum that covers every difference on the betas, like every single difference that you can possibly think of. It documents it with a picture and a description. So my YouTube videos cannot always be that in depth, but if you actually want to see like every single difference in Dead Rising's development, hop on over to the forum and check it out. It takes a really long time to load that thread because it has like 600 images, so you know, make yourself a coffee and wait for it to load. But yeah, it's pretty much the best way. My YouTube videos are like an introduction into learning Dead Rising's development. If you care, if you want to learn about Dead Rising from start to end, but they could never be as in depth as they should be, right? It's just a YouTube video. But yeah, if you want to learn every what did I just turn on? If you want to learn every difference in Dead Rising's development, hop on over to the forum. That's actually that's pretty weird. In the E3 build, when we knocked a zombie off of us, it like retracted the camera, but in this build, which is earlier, it doesn't do that. So, don't know why. See, if I get a zombie off me, it doesn't do it. Holy shit. Yeah, let's see. Oh, well, that doesn't count. I just want to see if it's going to do that E3 camera thing there. Fuck. Okay, forget it. It's not worth it. Hello, Arthur. Wish if TGS was found, he'd have to stream it for everyone. If TGS was found, unless Capcom gave it to me and they like hand delivered it with a gun to my head and told me not to show anyone, if TGS ever gets found, I'm just gonna release it. Unless there's some very strict reasoning why I couldn't. If TGS ever gets found or sold to me in like a like a garage sale or some shit, or a collector comes out and just sells it to me or gives it to me. Yeah, I think TGS releasing is like retirement almost. Like I I wouldn't leave YouTube or anything like that, but it would be like okay, here, like TGS is out, everyone go play it, everyone grab an emulator and fuck around in it. I think that would be the biggest gift to Dead Rising, is if TGS released. That'd be great. Unfortunately, Xbox 360 emulators are not that good, so I would recommend getting yourself an Xbox dev kit in anticipation if a beta ever, if TGS ever gets found. But I think one day I'll do a stream of Xenia just trying to play like just the final game of Dead Rising, and you'll see like it's really shitty. Xenia is really good for a lot of games, like Halo. Like apparently Halo's doing really good on Xenia, but it just runs like shit with Dead Rising. I don't know why. There were a few builds like a couple years ago that ran Dead Rising amazingly, and now they run like shit. So it's kind of sad. But yeah, maybe one day we'll do a stream of trying to play Dead Rising on Xenia. It's a hoot. It's a pile of shit. Textures like don't load in correctly and stuff. Yeah. But a lot of games, yeah, like Bully, Halo, all kinds of games run really good on Xenia. For some reason, Dead Rising just doesn't have a lot of support behind it. But yeah, I think we're gonna go check out Infinity Mode real quick, just see how far we can play in Infinity Mode, and I think that's where our stopping point will be. I don't own any collector's editions of Dead Rising. I own like the Japanese copies and this and that, but I don't have any steelbook version or anything. This is the 0.70 build. Did I just set my controller down before really loudly again? It's like a habit, man. I can't not do it. I'm sorry. I really shouldn't load a game save here. That's a bad idea. No. I don't want that. New game, yes. Okay. Let's check out Infinity Mode real quick. I put my controller down there like a normal human. I don't know if you heard it, but... yeah. My Zombrex pen, like, completely dried up. It's, like, blue all around it on the inside, so thankfully for that, it still looks blue. But, can you load a beta save in the final game? No, it's like totally corrupted. The data is not at all working for it. Any fears will brick the dev kit? No, I think I know my way around the dev kit. No problem. Yeah, this is Infinity Mode for this early build. You can see there's no prestige bar counting down. The health does pulse. But yeah, we can't go to the rooftop. For some reason, it kind of takes like 0.50's approach, where you have to take Entrance Plaza. But yeah, there's no real noticeable differences apart from the health counting down, and it starts you with no 72-hour like story mode. Yeah, that healing sound must be really annoying, huh? Oop. I'll lower that a bit. Yeah. I can't tell how loud it is, so... If only all human stomachs made this sound. Yeah, this is nighttime, quote unquote, in this build. I'll show you in debug camera here. This is what nighttime looks like. It's like night in the mall, but everywhere else it's day. So, pretty great. It's night like on these little patches of grass, but not on the pole. Yeah, it's pretty busted. And check this out. Let me remove zombies real quick. And there's this I can't remember what store it was, but there's this store that has a mirror shader, and the mirror is like really fucked up. I think it's that store actually. Let me reload this area. The gate's still down, even though we're infinity mode, so I can't get by. Yeah, 5 health on level 1 in this build for some reason. Also, look at this. Look at this beautiful reflection shader. It looks good. Looks really good. And it doesn't cause any lag, surprisingly. It just looks good. But there's this, there's this mirror shader, and the mirror shader isn't really quite working yet. So I just have to load the store, like the high poly store. And when you go into debug camera, this is what the mirror looks like. Super trippy. That hurts my eyes just to look into this at really close. Yeah, there's the mirror. And you can go down here and you can, you know, pray to the giant death mirror to not consume you. Yeah. But it's interesting that in the movie land the mirror was working, so I don't really know why the mirror doesn't work here, but it doesn't. And in most places actually the mirror doesn't work. Paradise movie land is the only one for some strange reason. It's the portal to Onus's home world. I'm pretty sure if you pray to the broken mirror at 3 a.m., TGS will appear. So I'm gonna try that tonight. I am getting messaged up the ass. Yeah, I think that's a good point to end. Been live for almost 3 hours. Holy shit. That was pretty good. It's pretty funny. Got to experience 3 different versions of Dead Rising, starting with the most stable to the least stable. Yeah, that's where we'll end it here. 15 years of Dead Rising. It doesn't really feel much different from 10 years. Like time is just kind of not real anymore. It's gonna be weird when Dead Rising turns 20 years old though. Like I don't know. I'm gonna feel really old. It's gonna be pretty sad. But people still tell me that when Dead Rising came out 15 years ago, they were like 3 years old, and it's funny to think that I was a lot older than that. And yeah, it's weird to think that there were people that didn't get to play Dead Rising when it came out. You know, they were just born. It's pretty weird. But yeah, hopefully we get a message from Capcom. You know, maybe a rogue tweet would be pretty nice. But we'll see. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all the donations. Don't have to do that, you know. YouTube doesn't really like my YouTube channel, so I appreciate it. This is the most money my YouTube channel has made in maybe 4 years, because YouTube does not like Dead Rising for monetization. But yeah, so take care, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'll see you around for the next stream, which hopefully isn't in another 3 years.